call the meeting to order. Can somebody take notes, please? Anyone? Steve, Marilyn?
Let me get my iPad.
Anyone? Marilyn?
Okay.
Bueller? Anyone? Thank you. All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 5:34. I'll read the usual disclaimer. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to access the meeting may do so in the following manner. The Zoom link was posted that you've all used to get here. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite our best efforts, we will post on the town's website, town.plympton.ma.us, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Plympton's website. Thank you. Tricia, is that phone you?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I knew last time you said you had trouble with your laptop, so I figured that was okay. Great. So thank you for joining us. Actually, as long as you're here, why don't we start off with you, if you don't mind. So we had a couple of questions on the clerk's budget proposal. So if you do you have the questions in front of you, Tricia, or do you need me to ask you them again?
I do have them in front of me.
Okay. So I think one of them was, let me see if I can bring up your.
One of them was regarding the assistant or the support staff budget line.
Yes.
188.
Yes. Why can't I share? Sorry, I'm trying to multitask. It's not working well for me. Huh. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Can everybody see that sheet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Nate Sides has started screen share. There it goes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. This is the sheet that you had submitted. So we had some questions about extra coverage for you have the 65 hours extra coverage there. And then there was 48 hours for the assistant town clerk. And I think our question on the, especially on the assistant town clerk, is if that person is getting educated, wouldn't that be considered their regular work week? And I don't understand why we would need to have additional pay for that. Let's start there.
So we'll start there. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, fine,
Okay.
thank you.
So it's for support staff hours in the office. So if the assistant is attending any type of function outside of the office, those hours still need to be covered in the office. So it's two different things. The conferences are usually, class time is like from 8 to 4. So they start on a Wednesday, Thursday, and then half a day on Friday. So some of those hours are beyond the regular 20 hours that the assistant will work. And the conference time goes beyond those hours. And then we also pay for travel time. So while if we're not in the office, the office is still open to the public for just being able to cover office hours and remain open during regular office hours. So it's coverage in the office that are the extra hours when we're not here. So I've hired election workers in the past. Now I do have 2 people on staff in the clerk's office sharing the 20 hours a week. So there's coverage in the office. Our office has been open to the public for the full time that the suggested town office hours are open. And we have not closed. We don't close when there's a conference because we still have to post meetings, and we're the main line in the townhouse. So we're kind of the switchboard operator for other offices. And our office is actually working for all the other departments in town when their office is closed from time to time, which happens quite a bit. So we're keeping our office open even though we're at conferences. So that's to cover extra conference time and office coverage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, some of it does. Yeah, absolutely. I thought that the town phone system has a, I mean, when I called town hall today, there was a, you press 1 for such and such an office, press 2 for, how are you acting as the switchboard?
Because everybody calls our office and wants to be connected to, so I guess it's the main number of the town, the 3220. And we just get every single call from burning permits to the library to the tax collector's office. It is an ongoing thing that we get all those calls, and we have to be the switchboard operator and transfer all the calls to the correct departments.
Okay. And is there ever a time when both you and the assistant are out of the office attending a conference?
Yes.
Okay.
So the conferences, because of the last couple of years with COVID, they have not been held in person conferences because just because of safety precautions. So we haven't had the same amount of conference time due to COVID. And the first time that we went back to conferences last June in person, they did only allow the town clerks to attend. They did not allow assistants or any other staff. But normally the assistant and the town clerk does attend conferences. Normally.
I'm sorry, that was Mike Lemieux. He didn't realize you were meeting on Zoom. Okay.
All right, and I do have something else to bring up.
Sure.
We were, after the fact of preparing the budget, we were given notification that office hours on Monday evenings will starting in July. And those hours have not been factored into my original proposal for my budget.
Okay.
So after the fact, I'm looking, and I'm not sure if it's expected that we're open for 52 weeks, or if we're going to be open for 26 weeks, because if it's every other. So I have 2 additional amounts of money to add on to this figure. So if we're open 2 hours Monday evenings from 5 to 7, it would be an increase of that 30,806 by 2,600 in order to cover those hours. And if we have to be open every other week, it would be an increase of $1,300. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
Makes sense. It's the first time hearing of it, so I don't know what the expectation is from the select board, so we'll have to find out from them this evening.
Well, it may not affect other departments as much as mine, because I factored in that the office coverage for office hours was 20 hours a week, where other offices for their support staff or administrative assistant have over 30 hours apiece, where we only receive 20. Maybe in the case of the building department, she's given 28 hours a week. I'm not sure if, so they're already in a position where they have more hours for administrative support than hours that they're open to the public.
Well, I know in some cases, those persons are also assisting multiple departments too. So I think that's the reason that their additional hours are beyond what the posted office hours may be. Would it
Well,
also, would it be possible for you to, I mean, you don't have to have two people in the office at all the time, right? You could have one person cover a shift.
No, but in the case that I would not be able to be here, and I've, whether it is because I can take vacation time, or if I had something come up for a family situation, such as a death in the family, there's just nothing put in there for coverage for me to do things in my personal life and have someone in the office covering it.
Well, I understand that. I guess my point was it's possible for one person to cover the office. You don't have to have two people there.
It is possible.
So for evening office hours, for example, you could have one person there, and maybe you wouldn't have two people there on a Wednesday, for example. So one person would be there on Monday nights.
Yes, but I don't understand. I mean, even the Board of Health has the same office hours as we have, and
we have not received a request for them to extend. That's exactly my point.
Right, because she already has more than 20 hours for the support staff for the Board of Health is already starts off with more than 20 hours a week. I think she has, most other offices have 28 to 30 plus hours a week for support staff, except for this office. And when I started here as the assistant, most offices were budgeted with their support staff. Pretty much everything was fairly the same. And in the past 5 years, it's changed where those offices, I mean, I even think the building department has that line item twice as high as what it was 5 years ago.
Because we've combined several smaller line items into that one line item. So that one line item is not the same as it was 5 years ago. That's an example where one person is servicing multiple boards. So for simplicity's sake, we combined all of the smaller amounts of money to that one line. So you're not comparing apples to apples.
Well, I'm also comparing the support staff for the town clerk's office in FY 219 was a higher number than what I'm operating in FY 22. So the number that was awarded for support staff in FY 219, when my predecessor was here, there was a different town clerk. They were able to have $26,884 for their staff. And now I have a lower amount, and it's all these years later. So
Doesn't that
I've
just
seen,
mean you were paid better than your current occupant of that position?
no, actually, my assistant, I went to Wage and Personnel upon her hire, and I asked for her salary to be put in the middle of the range during an open meeting with Wage and Personnel in 2019 when she was hired. And she started working at a higher rate than I made after 7 years of working as the assistant.
Okay, I don't have the records from, I don't have the budget submission from 2019 in front of me. I'd have to look at
Well,
that.
I just gave you the figure. It's 26,884.
I understand, but I don't have the support documents. I don't know what that translates into in terms of number of hours that were budgeted or the salary that was paid. I have the number in front of me, yes.
I know, but you're assuming things like I was paid higher, and that's why the
It was
rate
just a
was
guess.
higher.
I was just speculating on my part.
Yes, but that is not the case.
Okay. But just having a budget number doesn't tell me how that budget number was arrived at. It doesn't tell me what the number of hours were budgeted for that position.
I worked 20 hours a week for that position.
Okay, well, then the number's not adding up then. If you're
Because-
saying you were paid less than your current occupant there.
Because there were extra hours that were put in there for conferences that I attended that go beyond the hours in the office that were 20 hours a week. So I was compensated for traveling to conferences and attending conferences that were on Fridays when we're closed and on Wednesday and Thursday afternoon beyond our regular hours.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great.
Anything else about this line that you would like to add?
I would like to add that I think that I'm not supported in this office financially with respect to having this questioned about what it takes to run this office. And I think that I receive
So you
less
think,
than.
you think, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, please finish.
No, I just think that, I think that you said that other offices are working for other types of, they're bundled and working for other things, but I think this office.
Was
not
that a
only-
misstatement on my part?
Well, I do think that this office also supports.
I'm sorry, was that a
board-
yes or a no to my question? Was that a misstatement on my part?
Repeat the statement, please. What,
I s-
what, I want to know.
You're the
what I'm
one, you're the
answering.
one that said the statement. You were repeating back something that I had said to you earlier about an administrative assistant in one office being also tasked with assisting other departments. And that was one of the reasons why they were budgeted for more hours than 20 hours per week.
And I'm, my statement.
And I'm
that I
asking you, was that a misstatement on my part? You seem to think that it was.
I didn't say that it was a misstatement on your part. What I wanted to say was this office, because we're open on a regular basis, we're also supporting taking things in for the building department and other offices that have been closed during regular business hours and other people who are working from home. And we don't have that. It's just, it hasn't been an issue that this office has been closed with people either working from home. So we're supporting all the other departments when they're not here. So
And-
I'm just saying that we're doing the same exact thing We
Okay,
are
and-
absorbing the work that is not, the service that is not being met by other boards when they're not here in the townhouse during regular office hours.
This is not the forum to raise those issues. We're not discussing that here. We're trying to just determine your budget for next year. You made a
Yes, but-
statement a few minutes ago about you felt that the FinCom was not supporting you financially. How can you back that up somehow? How have we not supported you? Have we taken money away from you? Have we not approved your budget in the past? How
Yes.
can you back that up?
Yes.
Please do so.
Starting in 2019, when I was the only person on the ballot running for the vacancy in this office, you decreased the budget lines for the town clerk salary and the assistant town clerk salary. In 2020, you did the same thing. You decreased and did not support what was asked for the assistant town clerk salary, support line 188, and for the town clerk. And I had to get on town floor at town meeting to ask for what I asked for.
We did a salary survey at the time of comparable sized communities, and we did our due diligence as the elected officials of the finance committee to set what we felt was a fair and reasonable budget.
But you were
You then took it to the town meeting floor, which is your right, and got it overturned. But you can't take the actions of the finance committee personally. We do our due diligence. We periodically will change a particular budget request from a committee or a board based on what we feel is the right thing to do for the overall financial health of the town. That's our job. We have done it in other departments for this year, and we will do it again. It's nothing personal.
Well, the salary survey that you were comparing the
Okay,
salary.
I'm sorry. I need to. We are under a
No,
tight
I'm
time
in.
schedule.
I'm
You're
responding
really
to
straying.
something you said.
Okay, well then I apologize. I need to cut you off because we need to move on. Would you like to address did you find any supporting documentation for your request for a longevity stipend?
No, I don't have supporting documentation for it, but
Did you understand our position that this is a precedent that FinCom is not willing to support because we don't feel comfortable supporting it because to our knowledge, it has never been done in the past. And also in the collective knowledge of the Board of Selectmen, it has never been done in the past.
all right, well, can I answer that?
Sure.
I can talk about that. So because I'm the only elected official in the town and I don't fall under wage and personnel, there is nothing that I can give you for supportive documentation that there is any type of longevity or any type of increase for the time that somebody is in the office. It's not built in, so that's why I can't show it to you. But as
Okay.
far as the right thing to do, I mean, honestly, Nate, we're talking about me putting in for a 2% increase that comes out to $20 a week. So for you to say that you're being fiscally conservative by taking $20 a week out of what I asked for, I find that insulting.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. We are trying to be fair and we are trying to be consistent across all areas. And all I asked for was, did you have any sort of an example of a precedent?
Well, if you're fair and consistent, then the town clerk's salary would have been getting some type of merit-based increase every year, which you have not allowed. So it's not fair, it's not consistent, it's not impartial.
we are operating within the current, as far as I know, we are operating within the current established guidelines and policies of the town. I don't think there is a merit rating in place for the clerk's position or any other elected position.
Right, because I'm the
So
only
you'll have to
one.
take that up with the selectmen and the town, presumably at town meeting. I mean, that's not, again, you're getting outside the purview of the FinCom and the purpose of this meeting. Does anyone else on the FinCom have any questions for the town clerk?
No.
Okay.
No,
And there's one more item that you had a question about as well,
What was that?
the copier expense.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So as far as the copier expense goes, even if there is some type of
eligible to totally replace your
there is a special town meeting vote to see if they're going to pay off the copiers.
Mhm.
And I did request if that was going to happen. I asked the selectmen by email before I presented my budget if they were going to do that. The copier expenses that I've had that have gone over budget in the past 3 years, FY 2020, the copier expense overage was $495. FY 21, the copier expenses were over by $99, and FY 22, the copy expense budget overage was $340, with a total of $934 for the past 3 years that have been copier budgetary items that were not in the budget. They were overages. So when it comes to this office providing death certificates to funeral parlors, birth certificates to our students that are going into kindergarten, doing public records requests, not having a reliable piece of equipment has been very difficult, and the selectmen did broker having these copiers in place, but I never was given the proper notification of what those expenses would be when I present the budget to you. So if that question does not get, that warrant article does not get passed at special town meeting, I'm still going to have those expenses for the copier. So I'm just not sure why, I don't know if you planned on taking it out of my budget, but I just have to say, I've had to eat the costs of different things in this office.
My question was whether the 75, you listed in such a manner that it looks as though it's some sort of a contract. You listed as
Yeah.
$75 times 12 months. That would imply that it is some sort of a contract. My question to you that I want to clarified was, is it a purchase contract, or is it a maintenance contract, or is that you're making it sound as though that's merely for supplies, such as paper and toner? So
No, it wasn't for supplies. So
okay, is it a
when
purchase? Is it a lease contract then?
when I submitted my budget last year, and
Is
it
it a
was
lease contract?
I just want to explain something, please. $75, I thought last year when I submitted my budget for the copier, I thought that included a maintenance contract, because that's what I was told at the time. So that was all I gave to FinCom for the budgetary copier expense. This year, I was given the information that it's the $75 per month on top of the maintenance contract fee, which is $500 or so. So it's the combination of the $75 per month plus the $500 maintenance contract. Does that make sense?
I don't think it answers my question. What does the $75 represent? Supplies?
No, it is a contract that the selectmen have that I have never seen. That is a monthly payment for almost like a car payment. It's like a loan payment for the copier that does not include a maintenance contract.
So it's a lease then?
I've never seen the paperwork,
Okay.
so it
So
was
It sounds
verbally-
as though that $75 would be covered by the special town meeting article, which the FinCom has voted to approve, which is why to answer your earlier question, yes, we felt we could remove that $1,500 from your supply line if in fact it was going to be approved at special town meeting.
Hey, can I just let you know what I know about this?
Please.
Her $75 should definitely be going away. That is going to be, I mean, I can't see a reason that wouldn't be approved. There is a fee for a maintenance contract that she may still have to pay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering our questions.
And may I ask a question? Possibly two?
Sure.
It's regarding sending out the warrant. One of the questions that has come to our office is why the budget is not included in the posting of the warrant.
I don't know. Why don't you include it?
It's never given to us when we post the warrant. It's not connected to the warrant when it's officially posted in the 5 places in town by the constable.
That's not the FinCom's job. I don't know. That's not, I can't answer that question.
Okay, how about the second question is, last year, I did not get the warrant until the day before town meeting. And so that was the first time I had seen the line items for the budget, and I'm taking the meeting notes. So I had to ask you the day before town meeting for the line items to be voted on. And so last year you sent them to me on May 11th for a May 12th meeting. So when will I receive the voted on budget line items?
Did you not receive one delivered to your house by the Postal Service?
I received it the day before town meeting. And some people did not receive it till the day of town meeting, but they went to town meeting on their way home from work. So they had nothing in front of them at town meeting. And you only brought a stack of 10 for
Okay.
everybody who attended town meeting.
You're traveling way out of bounds. I'm going to have to ask you to, if you have questions about this, we can take them up at a different timeline. We are under an extreme time crunch here and we have other things to discuss. So I'll be happy to discuss that with you at some other point. Moving along. Let's go back to the warrant articles. Did everyone get an opportunity to look at the special town meeting articles that I sent around this afternoon?
Almost all revisions.
Yeah, the only one that really changed are these few here. These are the ones that we had not seen previously. These are the ones that school committee, they have their vocational ed money and their special ed money that they, similar to last year, they divided up to into different individual line item transfers. So I don't think anything looks terribly out of line here. No surprises here. And I think we were aware of all of these items before Mr. Williamson had come in and discussed these with us. So any discussion on any of these items?
No.
No.
Okay, since our meeting of last week was not posted by the town clerk's office properly, the vote that we took was null and void. So I'll need to ask someone to make a motion to approve the 9 articles as presented for the amount of $233,532.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Catherine.
Second,
Second. What?
Thank you,
Hold
Steve.
on. What am I writing here? Okay, we're approving article.
The 9, we're approving the special town meeting warrant as
Warrant, right.
presented.
All right, right.
Dollar figure is $233,532.
Okay.
32.
Catherine made the motion, Steve seconded. Roll call vote, Catherine Shepherd,
Aye.
Steve Lewis,
aye.
Marilyn Brown,
I,
Mike Lemieux,
Aye.
Nathaniel Sides, aye. Thank you. The annual town meeting, there are some number changes, but the dollar, and there is one actually substantial dollar figure change. The townhouse roof project was reduced from $100,000 we were using for our initial figures. It is now down to $25,000. That's based on actual project bids that came in and scope of the work. So that's a surprise there. Everything else, I believe, is as presented. Now, again, we had voted on all of the items with the exception of the fire station feasibility study. So I don't know if that's, if we want to discuss that particular line and come up with a determination on that, if we want to hold off and wait on that till our meeting with the selectmen.
can we vote the rest of them?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. In that case, could someone please make a motion to vote the annual town meeting warrant with the exception of Article 28 in
I'll
the
make the
amount of $519,845.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Second,
Thank you, Steve. Did you get that, Marilyn?
I got it.
Okay. Any discussion?
No.
Roll call vote, Catherine Shepherd,
Aye.
Steve Lewis,
aye.
Marilyn Brown,
Aye.
Mike Lemieux,
Aye.
Nathaniel Sides, aye. Motion carries. We'll come back to the fire station feasibility study. Let's go back to the budget then. I believe the only item we had not discussed was the items that we just heard from the town clerk about. So I will open it up for discussion on the, you heard her presentation. The item that I think we actually did vote on
I
that.
think we did.
Yeah, I think the support staff was the only line. So we did remove the copier article. Okay, so that one we already took care of. So the
Do we
support
need-
staff,
Sorry,
sorry?
Nate. On the copier, do we need to add the $500 back for the maintenance contract?
on her sheet, there is an item.
Because I think the 75 times 12 is only $900.
Right.
So I think that's, instead of backing out 15, we just need to take 9 off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so I did math wrong. Okay. Oh, okay, good. Nice catch.
So could you go back to that line so I can see what we're doing?
Yeah, if I can get there. Hang on.
Okay.
Sorry. So we gotta add 600 back then, right?
Right.
Oh, yep, correct, sorry.
Okay, what line are we, let me see, I'm trying to see.
I'm sorry, that's line number 190.
Okay. And that is for the copier,
We removed the copier expense
right?
because it's going to be voted as a special town meeting article.
But we're adding 600, you just said.
Well, because I did the math wrong last week. But again, our vote was not official last week, so anything we vote, we have to revote the whole thing tonight anyway.
Okay, so I'm not sure what we're doing right now. All right, so we're doing
You don't
line
really, for
190. What is the
because-
amount?
you don't really need to do any,
It's
we're
all the
just-
same as last week?
but last week doesn't count because they didn't post the meeting.
I know.
Okay, so in essence, we're just having our budget discussion the way we had last week before we took a vote. So we can just vote
All right.
the whole,
The whole thing. Okay,
yeah, the whole thing at once.
all right, forget about it then.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, got it.
Town clerk support staff, thoughts?
There will be an election this year.
That's a separate line.
Yeah, it's different.
Attention homeowners, can we use your home to advertise one of our designer metal roofing styles? We need homes.
What had we voted?
We didn't
What,
vote.
what was, let's just say, what was the number that we came up with last time?
Let's see.
It was, we didn't.
We didn't. Okay.
Yeah,
Tricia,
we had
are you still
exceptions.
on?
Are you asking for me?
Yeah, I was, yeah, because there was, I think one of the questions that we had for you also was the 30, you're asking for 35 extra hours for census. And I think we were confused by that too. Wouldn't that be part of the regular duties for a assistant? Why is additional help needed? I understand it's a task that gets performed by the department, but isn't that part of the regular job duties?
Yeah, but it can't be done in the amount of time that the office is open. It's always been included in the support staff for the town clerks. It's always been included as extra hours needed to do the census, whether it's done in office or outside of the regular hours. So the precedent has been, for the past 10 years, that has always been included as extra hours needed by this office.
Okay.
So I'm going by what has been done in the past. And that's how long it takes to manually do it, or we could be another town and we could get the figure of how much it would cost to outsource it by a vendor, which is what other towns do.
Thank you for the answer.
You're welcome.
So that's line, which line is that?
That's
Is it
line
888?
188.
188.
right.
Okay, not hearing any discussion. We'll take the clerk's budget request as is.
Okay,
That brings us to a total budget amount of 12,267,390. 12,267,390. I think we've discussed all of the other line items. Let me just scroll back quickly to make sure we didn't miss anything. Okay, could I have someone make a motion, please, to accept the annual town meeting budget as proposed?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Catherine. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Catherine Shepherd,
Aye.
Steve Lewis,
Aye.
Marilyn Brown,
aye.
Mike Lemieux,
Aye.
Daniel Sides, aye. We have a budget, 12,267,390. Now, if you take a look at that, this is these are the figures where we are currently with respect to the Lisa number. And we go through and do the math there. We are basically right where we want to be. We're $2,700 under our self-imposed budget limit.
And that includes the 300.
That does include the 300.
Okay.
So that's the only other item we have to discuss is the $300,000 for the fire station survey. I know there was a feasibility study. I know there were questions last week when we met about the dollar figure. I did circulate that the amount that was approved for the police station study was $150,000, and that was 5 years ago. So that's the only comparison that we have to go forward. So I don't know if that changes folks' opinions or thoughts on the dollar figure. We can vote it up, we can vote it down, we can propose a different number if we feel that 300 is still a little too much, or we can wait and discuss it with the Board of Selectmen.
I know, I mean, I'd be open to discussing it with the Board of Selectmen because, and I appreciate you finding that information on the police study, Nate. I still just feel like there's, I don't know enough about, I mean, did we get multiple bids or anything? Or I just don't know enough to know, you know, if that's a good price for this and if that's necessary and what is all inclusive in getting that. It just seems, it seems high.
Well, we have someone who might be able to provide the answer.
I see his hand raised.
Chief? Nope, you went backwards. Now you're muted.
There you go. The nervous microphones, right?
Hand up muted.
Oh, hands off mute. So as I understand what's going on, having spoken with John Williamson and such, and done a little research on my own. It's feasibility study is probably the wrong word for what we're trying to do here, I guess. Through the campus committee study that was done some time ago, it was determined by, at that time, prior to my being here, that the place for the fire station would be up and back, somewhere behind the ball fields in that area there. The problem is we don't know what's there. It looks good on paper that it will functionally fit in that spot, but can we build in that spot is the biggest question. More likely we can, but what will it cost? Meaning that we don't know what the soils are like. We don't know the actual site positioning. Can we put a septic there? If so, what's the kind of cost to that? So from what I understand from John Williamson, that this amount of money being asked for would cover the engineering study, if you will, and then also provide, as John had put it, about a 70 to 80% construction plan setup. I'm not a construction guy, so you got to bear with me, but having talked to a couple of architects, what you would get from this in that realm, I guess, for no better term, would again be about enough of the engineering and construction documentation that would allow you then to put it out to bid. So I also called around to a couple of other communities to see what they were spending. One in particular, Abington, is putting in a new fire station, way much more than we are. It's a totally different type of community, but their feasibility study was closer to 7 digits, but that also included siting of the station where it best belonged and such. So when you take that out and we get directly down into the engineering costs, septic, water flow, that's a different problem for us than other places. That's what I understand it all includes, and that could come up to the $300,000 mark. I don't have any documentation to support that. I haven't been involved directly in it, but that is my understanding from being told from the properties committee.
Chief, did you get any sense of how big of a land area is going to be included in the study? I'm just thinking, I know, engineering is always expensive no matter what you do. And I know if you throw it into a municipal realm, it doubles the price. But, if.
No, I understand where you're coming from there. So the best way we could come up with that, I shouldn't say we, because I'm not part of that committee, but I did speak with one particular architectural firm that specializes in municipal buildings, and they had built a couple of different stations down on the Cape that were very similar to what our needs would be. So our thought was, rather than starting from scratch, we found something that worked. And
for some reason the fire station couldn't be situated where.
Right. So I guess where I'm going with that is this is what they told us. How much land is involved up there? I don't know. I know what we talked about for the size of a station itself, and that's part of trying to figure out, will this fit exactly where it was. Now, if there's a plan B, if it doesn't fit there, I'm not aware of one at this time.
Got it.
I don't know if that answered your question or not. I'm sorry.
It was more directed towards a general evaluation of the land and how much is included for this, just in the event that the station can't be situated there for some reason, then at least we would know based on a certain amount of acres or something what that land is good for.
Sure. Oh, okay. I see where you're going there. I imagine it would tell us a lot about the area. The station is a sizable building. It's not a 16,000 square foot facility that was proposed in the past. It's more of a, what do we need now? What will we need in the future? Understanding that our future will not expand greatly from where we are at the moment, because our build out, I believe, by other committees shows that we'll max out like 3,500 people potentially. So we're almost there at 3,000. So building the station for 25, 30 or 40 year outlook, what we will build will be suitable and just enough. I don't want to go too crazy with this thing. I understand it. Believe me, I pay taxes here too. So the actual square footage of the building and the acreage is yet to be determined. And I think that's part of the study as well. Again, I'm speaking out of turn. I'm not part of the committee, but that's also my understanding. I guess that's the feasibility side. You know, what do we need? What don't we need is probably the more important question. And what do we need and how do we make it work there? Did that go through?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yes, I'm sorry, it did. Thank you, Chief. I
Thank you.
appreciate the background.
No problem.
It just occurred to me as I was listening to you speak that I had neglected to reduce one of the items on that other spreadsheet. Okay, so do we want to just table this for now and take it up further with the selectmen, or do we feel comfortable taking a vote one way or the other on this article, on this warrant article? Somebody give me some.
Move the article as written.
Okay. We have a motion to
I'll
approve the
second.
article. Motion and seconded. Further discussion? Mike, you look troubled. You still want to discuss it with the selectmen?
I'd like to, because I'd love to hear what they're saying. Yeah, it's just, it's a lot of money. I understand the goal and I understand the value. It's, yeah, I just wish I knew more.
Okay. Marilyn, thoughts?
I'd rather wait as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, we do have a motion that's on the floor. So if you want to wait and discuss it with the selectmen first, please vote no on the motion, and then we can table it till our meeting with the selectmen. So we have a motion to approve Article 28. I think it's 28. Yes, Article 28, in the amount of $300,000. Roll call vote, Catherine Shepherd.
No.
Peer pressure. Steve Lewis.
No.
Oh, all right, great. Marilyn Brown,
No,
Mike Lemieux,
No,
Nathaniel Sides, no. Motion does not carry. All
I like
right.
Steve's tactic.
Don't you have to have a motion on the floor in order to do something?
you do. You're right.
You
You're right.
do.
You're-
No,
You're
it was-
completely right.
It was well played. Absolutely. All right. So then, as I believe we are ready to adjourn to meet the selectmen. Are there any other items that we need to
are
discuss?
we reconvening then? With
We will
the
be
selectmen if we still have to vote?
I'm sorry?
Are we going to be reconvening with the selectmen, or are we going to continue this meeting?
Good question.
I think we adjourn and then reconvene at the, I think it's a continuation of the meeting. We just have to change the Zoom address. So I will declare a 5-minute recess to allow us to reconvene at the Board of Selectmen meeting.
Okay, so we're not adjourning, we're having a recess. All right.
Yes. So at this point, I'll remind you all that the selectmen is at a different Zoom address, which was provided for you on the meeting notice. So we will see you in 5 minutes. Thank you all.
Okay.